Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Grace Dolan. I am the Senior Vice President of Sharp Home Electronics. And I am here with two fabulous experts who are going to help me have this wonderful conversation. But first, before we jump in, I wanted to just have all of you think about your kitchens, right? If you're anything like what happens in my home, my kitchen is not just a place where we cook. The kitchen is where we start the morning. It's where homework happens. It's where people gather. And these people are people of all age, sometimes gathered all at the same time. And so this is where design decisions become really important, right? Because a little bit of good design choice can create a lot of ease, and a little bit of poor design choice can create a tremendous amount of friction. And especially as users of our kitchen, you are continuing to age. And as we see older consumers living in their homes longer, it becomes even more and more important that these correct design decisions are ones that they can grow and evolve with. Okay, so I know that's a lot. So let me introduce these lovely panelists. First, to my left here is Janet Engel. Janet is a certified aging in place and universal design expert. And basically what that means in regular talk is that she works directly with homeowners and designers to kind of translate all of these universal design principles into kitchens that not just function beautifully, but look really, really lovely. Over here is Harry Hessen. He is the Associate Vice President of Product Design at Sharp Electronics. Design and product planning. And basically what he does is to translate human needs into product design. And we all call Harry the father of the microwave drawer oven here at Sharp because he was part of one of the original team that developed this product. So today we're going to have some guided conversation and then we'll open it up to the broader audience for questions. All right. So let's start with the big one. Janet, when we say universal design, what does that mean?
Yes. Well, I'll start by saying a lot of people are confused about universal design because it applies to many different areas. When it comes to the home, or really universal design in general, it's design that can be used by people of all ages, regardless of their size, their abilities, and it also has general market appeal. So universal design really should be implemented always, regardless of who the user is.
And Harry, how do you think about it from a product design standpoint?
Well, from the product side or industrial design side, it's really about common sense. You can design for the average person. And what is the average person? 95 percentile, and as an industrial design, we kind of target that. But at Sharp, we don't just do things average. The average person. So when we do our research and you think about people that use the kitchen, I mean, we have tall people, we have short people, we have older people, we have young people. So they're all over the map. So you got to take in account all these folks. And, some people have physical challenges. So we do focus groups and we look at the details. So universal design is part of our Sharp design methodology. So, I mean, we've been doing this since we design products out of Memphis, and we've been doing this since the 80s, and I joined back in 89. But we actually used companies that worked. They didn't call it universal design there, but they targeted design for the older aging population. So that's our it's kind of in our blood.
So, but I like that you call it just common sense, right? It's not a special design. It's not special kitchens. We're not talking about anything clinical or odd looking. It's just something that's super usable, right?
Right.
So, Janet, what what demographic or lifestyle shifts are you seeing that are changing how kitchens should be designed to be common sense designed kitchens?
Yes. So it's no secret that the population 65 and older, baby boomers, it's growing leaps and bounds. They've been turning 65 since 2012. And that will continue to happen until the year 2030. So that is creating a lot of opportunity, a lot of talk about how do we serve this group? And of course, how do we take advantage of the business opportunities? And there are just it really, we can't even capture how many different areas are going to be affected by this population growth. And specifically in the kitchen, as well as in the bathroom, but today we'll focus on the kitchen. There are so many opportunities to implement universal design, starting with your dimensions and clearances, all the way down to the appliances that you put in your home. And of course, when you're talking about investing in appliances, you want something that's going to work for you several years from the time you buy that appliance. So we really have to think about what are we investing in and how are these appliances and our kitchen design in general going to work for us as our lifestyle changes over time.
Lifestyles and the ability to move, right? Mobility, right? In addition to lifestyle, it's
and our abilities, how they change over time as well.
It's really interesting. Who you are when you first design your kitchen may be very different from who you are 10 years down the line, right?
And who lives in your home.
Yeah. So I think there were some really interesting things there. One, that this generation of consumers is growing at the fastest rate that we've ever seen in the history of the United States. And that more of them want to stay in place, as Janet was saying. And so how are we changing our kitchens to evolve to those needs? So Harry, what do you think about how these shifts influence the way that Sharp thinks about product development?
Well, the good news is we're already doing it. We've been
We sure are.
we've been doing it for at least 30, 40 years. And that's part, like I said, it's part of our methodology. And we have a portfolio of products that reflect that. So, it's kind of like a time continuum. As humans, we don't think about, all we think about is the present. But give you an example. A young couple gets married and they're in their late 20s, 30s, and all of a sudden they have kids. And then their parents are getting older. So I just kind of heard this term, so it's kind of good. It's the sandwich generation. So you got your younger kids, you got to take care of your parents. So, you're multitasking and everything else. They move into their 40s and 50s. And you don't think about, look around when you just go out and buy an appliance the way it may be. But, we'll talk about some of the products here and what we suggest. But, life happens. That's the only way I can simply say it. It's just things change and you might have to sell your house. You may want to look for a house. But, investing in universal design in your house is a good investment because you get good return on your house. Or, if you're looking for a house, maybe somebody has it and already in place. So,
Janet, what's the biggest misconception about how universal design looks?
I think people assume that anything that is geared towards older people is going to be unattractive, it's going to be institutional, and it's going to be for a specific user. And with universal design, that's the beauty of it, that it's for everyone. And it has general market appeal, which means that everything that's universal design is also contemporary. It's design forward. And so you're going to be putting things in your kitchen that are going to increase the resale value, which I think is fantastic, right? And when we consider how many people are turning 65, we're going to have a lot of prospective clients that are looking for homes that have universal design features. And according to the research, less than 10% of homes in the United States have any universal design features in the home. So if you design your home with universal design, especially in the kitchen, because kitchens sell homes, that is truly going to set your home apart from all other homes in the market. But the most important thing is that you're going to have a comfortable, functional home for you to live in. And that's the most important thing, for you to enjoy your investment and be able to function independently.
I love that. Let's all make money on our home investments.
And enjoy them.
And enjoy them. A BOGO.
One thing I might say, she was talking about the word functional. So what we try to do with our product design, as designers or product designers, we try to make everything look really cool. And sometimes looking really cool is not functional. And while we again, back to our methodology, we design its product is serves the user in the right way. It's very functional. It's a good experience. Then that reflects a great design product. So.
Speaking of a cool product that also looks really great, Harry, you helped Sharp create the first microwave drawer oven, and actually really helped build the category that is developed into what it is today. At the time, I know you told me the story that it was because a designer told you that it was the zit of the kitchen. and you created a design solution. But in doing that, you also created a universal design solution in all of the accessibility features. Can you help us kind of unpack all of that?
Yeah. So like you said, we had a focus group of some architects, kitchen designers. And at that time in the 90s, we were making all these beautiful countertops. And we were talking, what can we do better? And like I said, they just kind of ruined our ego by telling them that our beautiful product was a zit. So, and then some of the marketing team and I were at a kitchen and bath show in '98. We walked around and everything's in drawers, and accessibility and even cabinets. It's easier to get to a bottom to stuff in your cabinet if it's a drawer versus, you hide stuff in cabinet doors and you find stuff 10 years later. So, dishwashers, warming drawers, and so on. So we said, can we put a microwave drawer in? So Japan engineers thought we were kind of crazy, but we were persistent. We built mock-ups and we brought it to the show in '99 here in Orlando at our 20-foot booth, and we showed it. People went crazy about it. So it took us about another 3 years to bring it to market. I won't tell you all those stories, but the first microwave was in a range, and we finally pulled it out of the range and put it solo. And we've gone through generations of it. And if nobody's seen the microwave drawer, I have a demonstrator here. You simply open up the door by opening it up, and you can put your plate in it. And just simply bump it and it's closed. Now, when we first came out with the warming drawer, we didn't have, we came out with two. One was a manual drawer. One was an automatic drawer. We thought the manual drawer would sell maybe 70, 80%. Automatic drawer was about $100 more. We only sold maybe 5% manual drawers. Everybody wanted the automation. That kind of told us that automation and what we're doing, we're bringing the food out to you. You're not reaching in to get it out. Now, we have a full portfolio of products, but when you're designing a kitchen, you're thinking about the future. the most common configuration is a range and an OTR. There's 5 million OTRs, and we sell OTRs, and it's a great product. It's very functional. It's adjacent, so everybody likes that close proximity. But when you get older, jump high, and get into the and take something out to stir, and then you got the spaghetti boiling, and you got to pull. A microwave drawer is a great solution for a universal design kitchen. Go ahead.
I want to say that the microwave also is a great product for older adults who may be living alone or just with one other person and are looking for easy prep for meals. And especially Sharp microwaves, which some of them have a convection oven feature. So then it takes away the need to have an oven because you can double duty your appliances.
So you two have been in cahoots for several years now on the product design front to build in universal design. What are some other products that have universal design features that you want to brag about?
Well, as you mentioned, the convection drawer. When we came out with the microwave drawer, the first thing everybody says, "Well, can you put convection in it?" It was kind of a challenge, but we did it. If you notice all our drawers from an ergonomic standpoint, besides easy to access it, we have slanted control panels, glass touch, make it very easy. And then we came out with the convection drawer. Even on the convection drawer, the accessories are easy to get to because it's hot, and we designed things curved so you can reach down in the drawer bits and pick things up. And then our latest product, as you see over here, and if you ate some cookies earlier, is our new high-speed oven. And as you see here, visual is a hard thing to do in instructions. So we actually worked on our LCD display, make a very bright LCD. It's very easy to use. It has still hear me? Okay. So anyway, we have a lot of times you got to look up the manual and everything else. And if you go to some of the presets, it has instructions in there. You scroll through, it has pictures. It shows the accessories that you can use. And sorry, I can't sit down. I have to come over here. And one of the other things, as you see with this oven, is that the turntable has like a little pattern in there. And what we did, we did the racks. If you see any other OTRs, they call them lunar modules. They sit on a glass tray and they slide around, and they're not very stable. So we designed this so it has a drip tray in it. Everything registers in the center. If you're cooking pizza, you use the upper rack. If you're using microwave, you just use the turntable. Some competitor ovens have 3 turntables. If you're going to microwave, you got to put the glass turntable in. If you're going to do convection bake, they got 2 different type of metal turntables. And what happens, they have I shouldn't say bad thing about competitors, but they have arcing and stuff like that. So we went to a ceramic turntable. So all these things are considered. We listen to the customer and try to listen to what they say and respond to it. One of the other things that we do, we have various cooktops. We have ranges. We have induction cooktops. We have radiant cooktops. But we're kind of new to the market, but we wanted to create a workstation here, a more functional. And, when you're cooking, you usually have your soup can, you're putting your spoon in or you're putting it on the counter. But we designed these side accessories so that if you're cooking a spoon, you got your spoon rest here, and you can take your tray out, throw it in the dishwasher. And, a lot of times you're looking for some place you gotta have some place to cool it. So we got the cooling zone over here. So these are all things that we consider. We take into considerations the other products we have dishwashers with 2 options, a pocket handle or handle. Of course, the controls are across the top here. And so these are a number of products in our portfolio that we try to do. So
Voice control too, right?
Oh, yeah. So
It's a big one.
totally forgot about that. So with that drawer that you just saw open, you open the control panel and you touch it. Well, we have Alexa enabled products that you just simply say open drawer and it opens up. And also we have a double wave open that you can open the drawer if your hands are full. And we don't stop there. We have an app. If you want to open it from the app, if you have the app open on your iPad or your phone, you can hit that. And basically we're putting technology into it. The voice control is great for, if people are have difficult, touching the key or they have visual issues, they can talk to it. So AI is something that's coming up that we'll be incorporating into all our products.
I think the key is just options, right?
Yes.
Whatever works best for the kitchen user. Okay, so we're getting close to the end of our time, and I do want to just ask one last question. So if our audience is to take away one practical idea today from a universal design standpoint, Janet, what should they take away?
I would say implement universal design as much as you can throughout your home, especially in your kitchen, because the most opportunities for universal design exist in the kitchen. So I would say invest in things like smart appliances, induction cooktops. We didn't talk at all about induction, but anyone that is going to change their cooktop, it should be changed to an induction cooktop because it prevents fires, it prevents burns, but then it's also the most efficient cooking that we have, and it's the cleanest cooking. And most of the pollutants in your home come from cooking. So when we think about getting older and air quality in the home, we also have to consider that as we age, our lungs don't work as well as they used to. So we want to have the best air quality possible. We cook every day. So obviously, if we're using a gas stove, we are polluting our home and increasing your risk of ending up in the hospital. So we need to think about, things like motion sensor lighting in the kitchen, having matte finishes on your countertops, on your flooring, all of these things that make your kitchen more usable and safer, not just for yourself, but like we said, people of all ages. Lots of older people have grandchildren visiting their home. Whenever you design for older people, you also design for kids. And so that's a great message to sell universal design.
I love that so much. Harry, what about you? What's your key takeaway?
I've told you all the great thing about our products, but what's important is how you install them and the positioning. We have a builder guide here that you're welcome to take. It's kind of an all-in-one builder guide that actually shows tips and ideas and how you can put things together. Our assistant over there is holding one up. So, basically you want to have it, the right height, your wall ovens, maybe countertop height. And so installation and positioning is very important. And one other thing I just mentioned to you that's not on display here, but we make a fantastic superheated steam oven, and it's a great for universal design because you have empty nesters, you have single adults and everything else, and it's a wonderful oven for cooking healthy, being able to steam, superheated steam. Telling the story about superheated steam's another 30-minute conversation, but it's a great oven. I have it in my kitchen. I probably cook 80-90% of food in there. And, with older adults, you try to get them to eat more healthy and so on. So it's a great product. So.
Okay. So I wanted to allow the audience to ask any questions. Does anyone have questions for our esteemed panelists? Hello, can you hear me?
I had a question. What's one small change that someone could make to make a big difference? Like something you've recently done, a small change, or they don't have a ton of money to spend. What's a small change that can make a big
That's a great
difference?
question.
I have a few examples of that. One, I would say lighting, because most falls are a result of poor lighting. So, and in your kitchen specifically, you should have between 50 and 100 foot candles of light. And there's also a formula. It's your age plus 40. So I'm 48. So I should have at least 88 foot candles of functional light in my kitchen. But the other very easy modification is the hardware on your drawers. They should be closed hardware. They're called either D-shaped handles or loop handles, or you can have the cup handles, which are the Victorian kind that you put your hand under, because when they're open, your clothing can get caught, and as you walk away, it can result in a fall. And so that's probably the easiest, cheapest modification that someone can make. And also removing knobs, because knobs are not ergonomically friendly. And your finger can also get stuck in the knob and pinch your finger. So the closed hardware would be probably the cheapest, easiest fix.
I didn't know you were the same age as I am. So,
Any other questions? Oh, you got another one in the back.
Where can we find out more information about this marvelous concept?
Well, there are certifications like the CAP certification, the Certified Aging in Place Specialist, where all of this information is taught. That was created by the National Association of Home Builders back in 2001. There's another entity called the UD Project, and there's a lot of education there, and it touches on all of the different areas of the home.
Okay, another one.
Do you find there's some resistance when you put these things in the home, and of course the cranky old mom or dad just don't want to use it? Like, what are you doing to my house? And what do you do in those conversations?
So nothing that we discussed today would be a reason for people to object, because it's all universal design. So when we talk about accessible design, which are features like grab bars, ramps, a standing alone shower chair, 3-in-1 commode, those are the things that people object to. And so that's why universal design is such a powerful message, because like Harry said, it's simply smart design. No one can argue that having a microwave at an accessible height works better than having a microwave above your cooktop.
Okay, on that note, we are coming to the conclusion of our event here. I just wanted to summarize a couple key highlights. I feel like we learned a lot. I learned a lot. But, summary, one, universal design is not niche anymore. It's just common sense design, right? It's everywhere, and also will help us increase the value of our homes. Two, invisible design, universal design that's done well is basically just invisible, right? And then finally, universal design will help you to evolve with your kitchen as you go through your different stages of life, which brings us back to Sharp and our aspiration to stay in step with your future. So thank you all for coming today. And Harry and Janet, thank you so much for all of your words of wisdom. I think we all learned a ton from you. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you for having me.